Hey guys, Lord Sora here. I would like to introduce you guys to the new build, the UNMAKER build that relies on Soulrift, new ultimate damage with UNMAKER procs. Before you think it's a clickbait title, let me clarify in this video. I am currently able to clear tier 95 and that's what I'm showing in the background. But I know for a fact this build can clear tier 100 with a better gear, especially a better helmet. Big shout out to Rise from Sanctuary Discord. He was actually able to clear tier 100 and we collaborated and brainstormed on the build together to min-max. He does have a GA Soulrift helmet, which I do not have, and his gear seems to be better min-maxed. I am sort of stuck at 95, but like I mentioned, he was able to clear 100, and I will add his full run video link in description, so please go check that out. Also, there's a world where you can make an overpower version of this build, but I think that will require some external tools to time to blood boil or the new rune word overpower proc. You will see in my clear actually I get few overpower procs and it just deletes everything when that happens. If we can get this build to overpower consistently, it can easily be an S plus tier build doing billions of DPS, probably falling a little behind of pure bone spirit, but it will be up there. I have already made a video about this build literally from the first day of PTR. If you have not seen that video, do not even look at it because unfortunately I gave out some misleading information and I want to make this new one sort of as an update and clarify some of those things I have previously mentioned. I apologize for the previous misleading video, but this helmet and this ultimate actually functions so oddly that few of my friends we bashed our head against the wall to understand what the hell is actually going on with it. Initially when you read the helmet, it makes it sound like okay, stack tons of shadow damage, increase the shadow damage per second of the ultimate, Soulrift, slap crit on top, and you're good to go. I also thought whether it was scaling my damage. This was all based on playing in the pits, doing an eye test from the first day of PTR. Literally a few hours after the PTR, I put the gear together and try to get more damage as possible and try to push the tier of pits, and that's what the last video was about. I was able to clear tier 85, so I thought it's a good video to show as a proof of concept. However, some of this eye test and the feeling of just sensing out the build in the pits was wrong. That's what the testing is for, and I went into spreadsheets. I start gathering data the past day or so to understand how this helmet actually functions. Shadow damage over time and the damage over time actually does not fully scale UNMAKER's proc damage. It is still somewhat confusing to me, and I will be continuing to collect more data, talk to other people, and learn as much as possible. But you're looking at the screenshot from my spreadsheet, you will see in red that when you scale shadow damage over time, the UNMAKER proc damage should go up to 130 or 160 depending on the additive you have. However, it's not even close to where it scales. It does scale to some extent, but it looks to have significant diminishing returns. When you look at the shadow damage additive, not the dot, not the damage over time, in green, it does actually scale as it should, going up to 140. So, like the shadow damage from Darkness Cliff does actually scale as it's supposed to. Additionally, also Wither, legendary node, does nothing for the UNMAKER's proc damage. UNMAKER almost fully ignores the Wither procs of Soulrift and does not take into calculation of a proc damage. I will link the spreadsheet below for your reference and you can review it yourself. I am going to add my build planner link in below. I will probably later do a more detailed build guide on this as I play more and when the season 6 comes around, but to discuss the basics of this build, a few main things I paid attention to are, for one, attack speed is very important. Based on the breakpoints, I'm trying to have at least 80% attack speed. We are stacking tons of crit damage and we need to reach 100% crit chance, and we can do some portion of this by putting grasping veins on our amulet. We are also trying to get at least 7 UNMAKER procs every bone spirit cast. Hence, this is why I'm trying to make sure my maximum resource is at least 210, incremental of 30 to proc 7 times per cast. Depending on your cooldown of the Bone Spirit, you need 4 ranks of rapid ossification, but if you have a cooldown on your Amulet and Focus, you can get away with only 2 ranks. Identical setup to what I have played. The build planner will be linked in below. Like I mentioned, I was able to clear tier 95. Obviously, there are tons of other builds out there clearing tier 100 much easily. However, some of them rely on a bug that exists on PTR. I don't know if it's gonna make it into season, but if it's really hard to just compare the builds right now, some really weird stuff is happening with the damage scaling. So if you are looking for a fun, different way of playing, that is a build, probably not S tier, but pretty close to A tier. Soulrift UNMAKER, this might be a good fun way to try and play. And I think the build is strong. It just needs a little bit more work to get it up there. And it will be a viable option going into Season 6. And also it visually looks amazing. It does feel like playing Necro. It just literally looks like a shadow version of Blood Surge. You're literally just deleting screens when the multipliers line up. I hope the video was helpful and it clears some of the misleading info from the past video. Let me know what you think of this build. It might not compete with others at a very high level, but I think it will be a flavor build of the season. And if we can actually get the Overpower version successfully applied, then actually we're talking about a really S+ tier build that can actually compete at a high level. But we'll see about that. There are a few ideas I'm working on with the help of others as well. So we'll see where we take that. But for now, I hope this was helpful. Lord Sora here. I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.